Hello everyone. My name is Jewel. Thank you for being here this evening, tuning in to what we have going on here. I'm with the Paul and Stephen Spiritist Center, and we've been broadcasting our weekly talks during COVID, and it's been a wonderful opportunity to be here doing this. I've learned a lot from watching all of my fellow friends doing the talks here, and I am excited to be able to try this out. And the book that we use here at the Paul and Stephen Spiritist Center is called The Gospel According to Spiritism. And the topic this evening is about faith, and eventually we get to how it is engenders hope and love, how it's the mother of hope and love. And so we're doing this every Saturday, and right now we're going to try to have a little beginning meditation, and then we'll get into discussing thoughts on the concept of faith. So let's begin by having a moment to just close our eyes and relax, and imagine that there's a great white ball of light made up of starlight and love, God's light, big, beautiful, sparkling ball of light coming down through our head, filling up our head, filling up our neck, coming down through the trunk of our body, down through our arms, through our heart, and all the way down through the trunk of our body, down through our legs, tingling, springing out of our feet, back down into the earth. And normally we open with the Lord's Prayer. You can say aloud as well if you like. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, now and forever. Amen. So, welcome. We're starting off with the concept of faith. It's a big one. So, we can't really get to the concept of faith being the mother of hope and love without talking about faith a little bit. So what exactly is faith? Google says it's complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Merriam-Webster Dictionary has something similar. It says something that is believed with certainty, especially strong conviction. So I get the strong conviction part, and I have a parable to read to you from chapter 19 of the book that I mentioned. This is point 8, the parable, and it's from Mark 11, verses 12 to 14, 20 to 23. It says, the next day, as they were leaving Bethany, Jesus was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree and leaf, he went to find out if it had any fruit. When he reached it, he found nothing. It had nothing but leaves, because it was not season for figs. Then he said to the tree, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard him say it. In the morning, as they went along, they saw the fig tree withered from the roots. Peter remembered and said to Jesus, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree you cursed is withered." And Jesus said, "Have faith in God. I tell you truth, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt it in his heart, but believes that what he says will happen, it will be done for him." So Jesus basically was talking about believing with 100% of your mind, body, and soul, and you can make anything happen. That's what I get from that parable. And I think he's talking about human faith and divine faith as well there. So those are the two types of faith that come into the conversation. And human faith is discussed in part 12 along with divine faith of the chapter 19 in this book, if you want to refer to it. Human faith is when you, without religion or spirituality being involved, when a human being has a belief or a conviction that if they decide to do a thing, that they can achieve that. They just figure out what they need to do. They know that they can take those steps and ultimately they will achieve what they set their mind to. And from a young age, we learn this starting with the little things that we do. So we have we want to cross the room and pick up a ball. We learn that by trying we can actually do it, which gives us the start of our conviction. We have the experience and can then build on that. And as we go through life, we get more experiences like that and come to realize that pretty much anything we need to do in our lives, if we put our minds to it, we have faith, strong conviction that we can do it. Getting that job, getting the learning we need, making enough money to survive or better. Anything we put our mind to, really, we can do with the use of our will. There's a law of progress behind that as well. That is a natural law that if you put your mind to something from the beginning of something, we can see evidence of this all around us in life. People putting their effort into the idea of, say, for example, building a building. They get the contract with all their education, they go for it, they make a design, they get all these other people involved, they build the building, it's done. And that is a progress, the building of a structure, and that demonstrates the law of progress. Then divine faith is something additional in a big way. So how do we build divine faith? For many people, it doesn't come naturally, and for many people, we reject blind faith, which has been going on for thousands of years in all kinds of churches and temples and whatnot, and our rational brain rejects being told what and how to believe and accept as truth. And the building of divine faith takes willpower, an interest in seeking it out, because for most of us, it's not just going to come and blow our minds wide open, our hearts wide open. We need to have experiences and search for things. If you already have a spiritual feeling, you need to pray and ask for answers. If you don't have a spiritual feeling and you want to just research and check it out before deciding that a spiritual life or God or a divine plan isn't in existence, you need to do some research. And for the person who's willing to look, there's a lot of evidence out there. No one's exactly proved that God doesn't exist, really, and there's a lot of evidence to indicate that there is a higher power, whatever you like to call the higher power, the universe, higher power, God. Personally, myself, I studied from different sources, and Spiritism, the study of Spiritism helped me a lot and actually got me onto other sources. There's plenty of sources for those of you who are tuning in for the first time. I had a couple of examples. Here's a book of non-Spiritist sources. It's everywhere. Just a little sidetrack. There's so much evidence of young kids who've started speaking about past lives in ways that no 3-year-old or 4-year-old or 5-year-old could possibly understand or speak about, really, from a grown-up standpoint. But there are kids who say, "Hey, I was killed right there," and or I had a wife named Sarah, and she wore this kind of funny clothes, and they would describe the clothes of the time or just a totally different era, and these kids could not possibly know anything about that stuff generally, but there's a lot of evidence. You can look into that. You can Google that kind of stuff. Here's a really great book by Gary Schwartz. It has a lot of really great information in there where he scientifically examines the results that he gets from talking with and seeing what happens with a bunch of mediums who speak with the spiritual world. There's this really great example that really tickled the ivories of my soul, or spoke music to my soul, which was a non-spiritist example. Well, the author is Gabrielle Delane. Here's the book, Evidence of a Future Life. And in here, I forget which page, it talks about a group of men of education and science who got together and around examining a spirit that was meant to come and be with them and answer their questions and let them basically do their research and talk with her. And this spirit would manifest several nights a week for more than a year with this group of people and a medium who helped her manifest. And if you read about it, it'll start to make more sense to you than just hearing about it right now. But she would manifest partial parts of her. They could touch her and feel a pulse from her, and she could change her racial presentation, and she would appear in the middle of the group or disappear with the help of a medium. And you can read about all the names and whatnot in that book that I mentioned. My point is that there's plenty of evidence to suggest the existence of a spiritual world. And if you should happen to get drawn into that research, then you may also come across the concepts of, in the spiritual world, there are different levels of spirits. The higher spirits, who are much wiser and full of love and compassion for us, and you can get that when you start opening yourself up to the research and see the difference, and then you start paying attention to what those spirits are saying once you've got through all the physical research and the discovery of the spiritual world. And then you get to the higher level spirits, and then you start looking at the content, and the content is basically telling us there is a higher power. And the most important thing, no matter what religion you're studying or what your faith is, or even if you're atheist and don't believe, that the most important thing is love and doing good for your fellow human beings. And maybe that's the main point. So you get to that main point, and then you feel full of it, full of love and a desire to have more of it and spread more of it around. So that's evidence for me that brought me from a 99% intuition and faith from all of my life experiences, and then doing the extra research brought me to that 100% faith. And there's a quote in the same chapter from the gospel that is a pretty well-known quote in the Spiritist community, and it goes something like, the only unshakable faith is that which can stand up to reason face to face at every stage in mankind's development. And the rational faith is the one that brings you to the awareness eventually of the higher power, God, and the main point is loving each other, and the progress that we make through the development of our understanding and love for one another. When you have that rational faith, after doing all your research, if you're fortunate, you get to a place where nobody can argue away what you've learned, and you know 100% for sure that that there's a divine plan, and that there are steps you can take to increase your peace and your happiness and your love with your fellow souls that you're on the journey with, or at any time really. And what happens when once you finally get this faith, this divine faith, what happens when we don't nurture it? You can still have your faith, but it's very important in terms of the concept of hope and love and peace to nurture it. So if you don't nurture it, you can get into a really bad place, even if you have faith that there is a divine plan. And you may get caught up in the stress of life and forget to pray, or forget to read, or forget to do kind things for other people. When you nurture your faith, your energy increases, your peace starts to come back, your frequency. When you pray or do good things for people and remember your faith, it's all about love. And so when you start to do more things for other people, you will naturally have your frequency raising up. And as it raises, it becomes infectious. And you also have the extra joy of infecting other people when you have a really strong faith and you profess it often, to or you live it. You're doing something that other people will think is yuck, but you're doing it with joy, and people see that and they're infected. Like, what gives that person so much joy to be cleaning houses or waiting tables or whatever? It's infectious. It's a positive cycle once you've built that faith. And then when you nurture it, it just leads to loving people more by loving yourself, practicing your reading, keeping your frequencies higher, and having that faith also gives you hope through hard times. If you kind of go further and you know that the law of progress and the law of action and reaction, do good and good things will eventually be happening. Be just as God would, the best you can as God would want you to be. Have compassion for other people. The divine and natural laws all can be observed and experienced, and you will experience a progression of yourself as a being, and you can have a positive effect on the people around you, and you will see them progress as well. And that's how faith, an understanding, a rational understanding of the big picture, the thread of faith that of truth, the thread of truth that runs through every religion. When you get that faith and you're latched onto that truth, that love is the way, then nobody can take it away from you, and you share it with everybody, and that's how faith becomes the mother of hope. Hope comes from faith. Increased love comes from a faith and understanding, a rational faith and understanding of our divine mission. Each of us has one, or several, in this planet, in this lifetime. And that's my understanding of how faith is the mother of hope and love. I hope this was clear and lucid for you. I enjoyed doing it, and I hope you all have a beautiful evening. I think we'll just wind up with a last prayer, and let's just close our eyes and try and relax in our chairs or where we're sitting, and imagine that light one more time above your head, sparkling and full of love and God's light, and coming down through your head, pouring down through your neck, into the trunk of your body, out through your arms, down through your legs, and coming out down through the bottoms of your feet. And feel your hearts feeling full of light and love. And imagine that we're all holding hands together and just increasing our love energy and our connection to God. And imagine all of us together, if we can, during this very challenging and powerful time in the world's history, spreading our love from where we are as a circle out through the city. See it just blast and spread through everyone here in the whole of the city, and then take a big deep breath again. See our love and all this energy being spread out through the whole world. It's in need of some love and light and focus for this challenge that's come to help us connect and grow. We thank you, God. We thank you, Jesus. Thank you for everyone being here. Go forth and have a great week. Enjoy your weekend. Amen. Thanks, everybody. If you have any questions or things you'd like to say, there's a whole lot of people here at the Paul and Stephen Spirit Center who would be very happy to connect with you. You can catch us on the website and get a response usually pretty quickly. And it's been a joy sitting here with you today. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Bye-bye.